Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast. We eat sandwiches and play games. Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast. A podcast for everyone's taste.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Taste of Dragons, the Toddcast, the video game podcast that all you Jedi Council members who have not been granted the rank of Master listen to. And this week, it takes two monsters to get into the Sky Order. The news is going digital. Our topic takes 6. And our dragon this week never gets phased. Streamer FaZe Ewok. And as always, I'm Brian.
I'm Troy.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Hassel.
And I'm Joe.
Hey guys, welcome this week.
Welcome, Jedi Master.
A quick question. Do you guys think Anakin was done dirty by not being granted the rank of Master?
No.
Because I do.
No?
Okay, hang on a second. Let's talk about this for a second, because if I'm not mistaken, he also committed genocide.
This is before
because
that.
somebody
Eventually.
murdered his mother.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. That was beforehand.
That was
It's
after.
not eventual. It was like at almost
that was
every level
beforehand.
of his
You're
life.
right.
Yeah.
No.
Listen, but he did a lot in the Clone Wars. He almost single-handedly won that war.
More reason
and the
for him
council
not-
members
That
didn't
literally
know.
He only had one hand.
I'm just saying. The hubris that is him did not grant him the title of Jedi Master.
Right. I mean, he did go through the process, according to the last Clone Wars episodes, to become a master. He went through the actual trials to earn it. But it does take more than that. I agree. I think he could have, if it wasn't for his damn hubris.
I have to say that if you're going to be a Jedi Master, you have to be partial to sand. And he's not.
Oh.
He doesn't
So,
like it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're not allowed
That
to not like
registers.
things. Yeah.
It gets in his hair, and he's got a really good quaff going these days.
He does
It's
have
hard to
nice
get
stuff.
out. It takes a while.
I think he was just done dirty by that entire prequel series, but I think that's just me.
Well, you're going to get a chance to see him make up for it in the new Obi-Wan series.
I'm so excited to see them acting together again.
I'm ready
Yes.
to give Hayden Christensen another shot.
I agree.
I'm more excited about the potential of us getting another hello there.
Hello there. One of the best phrases in cinema history.
Oh, God. He's got to do
Absolutely.
it.
Well,
I
welcome
want
back
Jar
to
Jar
the
Binks
Star Wars
to be
podcast.
in this. That's what I do.
You want who to?
Yeah.
You want what?
I want Jar Jar Binks to be in this. I do.
don't.
I do.
Right.
I don't know you anymore.
Give
do.
Jar Jar another chance.
Or go back and
Gives you-
watch
hey.
Jar Jar, because I don't know if he's as acceptable in modern cinema as he was
Fair
at
enough.
the
You know,
time.
fair enough. Fair enough.
That is true.
That is very true. You know, let me back off this topic and let's get into the games this week.
What are you playing?
Just jumped right off that topic.
Gosh, it's so good to have a
It's
segment
like jumping
to just
off a shark.
But you know, I'm gonna jump right back on it because this week I played Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which actually came out in 2019, November 14th, I believe it was the day. And basically, this is Star Wars' take on the Dark Souls type gameplay. So you had regenerating enemies, you got to level up, you had to go through and unlock shortcuts, that type of stuff.
It's the newest Star Wars game? The newest RPG Star Wars game?
Yes, it was. Yeah, besides Squadron, which was the pilot one that came out last year. And so it came out a year and a half ago. It just came out on PC Game Pass because they combined with EA Game Pass, so I was able to play it that way. So I love this game. This game, I think, took me about 20 or 30 hours to beat. I don't remember how long it was. The story is amazing. The way that you take this guy who kind of forgets about his past, or forgets about his training, I should say, and taking him through and dealing with his trauma of seeing his master die during Order 66.
Yeah.
And seeing all these other Jedi's takes on what happened when it happened to them was heartbreaking.
I mean, not only that, but you get to play through Order 66.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. I love the story of Jedi Fallen Order. That was the game that got me back into gaming.
For
yeah.
our listeners who may not know what Order 66 is, that is the moment in Star Wars when they flipped the switch and all the stormtroopers went bad. They were allies previously, but because of their training, they were brainwashed to switch sides. So a lot of friends
Exactly.
turned on friends, brother against brother, heartbreaking kind of chain of events.
Oh, it absolutely was. And when you start the game, it's 5 years after Order 66 happens.
Right.
And so you pick up.
You're
and
one of the
he's,
surviving
you know,
kids.
You are.
There
and
weren't many.
I realized. Yeah, and I realized that was like 5 years, but I didn't realize how young he would be 5 years in the past. So you actually do play through it with him as a child.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's right. He was a child 5 years ago. Jeez. And so like, and it's great seeing like him walking up and actually interacting with all the clone troopers. They're all his best friend. They're all talking about playing, doing random things. They're all having inside jokes. One of them high fives him. And then you walk through, and literally 5 minutes later is when Order 66 happens, and all of his friends have turned on him and his master. And yeah, it's heartbreaking.
That would be impossible to handle as an adult, but as a child, it was just soul-wrenching to watch.
You make
Oh,
a game
God,
out of
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah. And they did. And they did that scene so well. And that scene alone is worth playing through. But the rest of the story is phenomenal.
That game's like Skybox, the world that it builds on the levels is so detailed and beautiful. I remember just getting into one of those planets and not even playing the game, just like sitting on a mountain, just looking at whatever bird aliens are flying in the sky and the triple moons that are setting or whatever. Like it was. I loved just all the little contextual details in that game. It was really special.
It was. It
The
was.
lightsabers.
So, yeah.
You get all of them. All the colors.
It was so good. I love that game. I'm sad it took me this long to play, but I'm glad I was actually able to play it and actually finish it.
And it seems like it's set up for a sequel, story-wise.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do believe they are working on a sequel, which is why the actor who actually plays Cal Kestis in the motion capture wasn't available for any of the live-action Star Wars stuff.
Ooh.
It's because his story is continuing in the video games. But yeah, about Fallen Order, like the lightsaber manipulation and like the way that you get to build your own and like change different parts of like the lightsaber, that alone made me like so happy. Like it's such a detailed oriented game.
It really is. It really is. So yeah, that was my game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. On the sandwich meter, I would give it a solid 4.5. And this is a good sandwich too.
What's a good sandwich for you?
It's just a nice, for me, like ham and cheese, like the best quality ham and cheese that you can get.
Classic. I love it.
Classic. And then what about you, Joe? What did you play this week?
I played Monster Hunter Rise.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is that a new release?
Yes. I'm going to take you guys on a journey. For those of you who don't know what Monster Hunter is, I believe it's considered an open world RPG for your weapons and your person kind of hunting game with lots of different weapons. Does that sound right?
It's a giant monster hunting game.
Yeah.
It's basically a boss battle the game.
Yeah, okay, there we go. There we go. I'm going to take you guys on a journey. So I was very excited when the demo came out, and I started to play the demo, but I never actually went on even one mission because I was so excited about just the beginning of the world and walking around with the Palamut. So in this game, they give you not just a Palico, which is an awesome kitty friend, a companion, a person who brings you awesome things that you need when you're dying, and also helps you collect stuff. They gave you an adorable dog called a Palamut. And you can ride it, and it's your friend, and it hangs out. And if you're standing there for too long, it lays down at your feet, and it just kind of like falls asleep near you. And it okay, so the opening of the game, they show you these couple things, and I was just so excited about running around in that little area that they gave you to run around in that I was like, I don't need to do a mission. I'm buying this game. They got me. They added cute dog. I'm in. So I get the game. I literally spent like 2 hours making my person. And then I spent another 2 hours making my dog, so that all of the light, like the character selection and they gave me like literally the color spectrum to work with. So like, and then they gave me light and shadows, so I had to see what it looked like when your Palamut was like in the nighttime, or if the moon was hitting it from the left, or maybe it was in the water on the right. So like, I had to make sure all of the light was hitting its fur just the right way to match my hair. Because, like, we're buddies.
Yeah, you're like soulmates.
Right? So, like, I spent 2 hours doing that, and this is all the first night of playing. I've now spent 4 hours just making a character and just doing this. And then I got to the Palico, the little kitty, and I was like, yeah, I literally didn't want to change anything. My eyes were tired. Everything was, I was like, no, I actually really just kind of like the base version of you. Let me see what your hair looks like in the sun. Like, I don't care. What is it in the moonlight? I don't care. No version of what I was creating was making it any cuter or better than it already looked. I'm using the stock Palico. That's the I don't know why, but my Palamut and my person are like tricked out, yo.
Maybe the game just knew exactly what you needed.
Right? That's what I got. So I spent like 5 hours just making characters the first night it was out, and then I had a ton of editing to do, so I couldn't play it the next day until I was done with all my editing. And then I was able to play again, and then I started playing, and I was like, oh my god, this little town's so cute. You got like little cherry blossoms in one area, you got these cats making mochi in another area, and you got all these people to say hi to, and there's like sleeping dogs, little sleeping doges everywhere. And I spent like 2 hours just talking to people, and then I didn't know how to play, and they were like, go talk to this dude, he's gonna tell you how to play. And I was like, this is great. And then they just threw me in the world, and monsters walloped me. They walloped me hard, guys. Like, I'm not good at this.
I'm sold on this game.
Press this button. I was like, press what button? They're like, press this button to do this. I don't even know. What are you talking about? Did you see that thing is coming after me? Run, Doge, run, my babies, get away from it. I spent a lot of time running away from things that looked like they wanted to kill me. And this was in basic training.
I feel like you were playing Animal Crossing and then suddenly it became Dark Souls and you were unprepared.
I was not prepared, yo. So I finally figured out how to take out my weapon. I chose a really dumb weapon because it looked goofy, and I'm sticking with it now because I battle horn. I don't even know
the hunting horn.
Hunting horn.
Oh no.
Yeah, it plays music, and I was like, yeah, I'm down about that life.
That's a tough one to
It's
learn,
a really tough
but it's a good one.
It is.
Yeah, it
done
said
that.
don't
It's
use this
good.
unless you're a veteran, and I didn't
Right.
read that part until afterwards.
Oh, no.
So like, whatever.
Oh no.
This is fine.
But
I chose
Joe,
it.
you're not the person
I've
that's
got-
going to just give up and not use it. You're going
No,
to use
she's
it
not.
anyway, aren't you?
Never, exactly. And you know what? I learned how to swing it. I learned how to hit things with it. And then I learned I don't like doing those things. So when it was telling me, like, go get to slay this monster, the monster came out and it had, like, a family.
That's
what
the
am I
hardest
gonna
part
do
about
with
Monster
that?
Hunter, when you start
Yeah.
empathizing with the monsters that you're hunting. Ugh.
Yeah.
Bothering me. They've got their cute little baby with them. And I'm like, the
Joe.
game's like, okay, you've got 10 minutes left. I'm like, okay, then I'm going to sit here
Joe,
for 10 minutes and
I-
watch these monsters live.
I
This
don't
is my
know
life.
if Monster Hunter is...
No. She's at the herbivore phase of Monster Hunter, which is very easy to empathize with. It's
Yeah.
when you get to the Beetlejuice version of
the
Monster Hunter.
Betelgeuse.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Betelgeuse.
yeah.
Big,
When that guy kills you over and over and over
Gets
again,
real.
and then when you finally kill it, you're like, yeah, in your face.
I'm going to wear your...
Yeah.
I'm going to wear
I'm
your
gonna wear
abdomen.
your skin so every other Beetlejuice knows not to do this.
I'm hoping that part happens at some point.
It will.
Joe, this is where you have to pick between being an Obi-Wan or being an Anakin.
It's true.
Right now you're at
We all
Obi-Wan.
know that
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be an Anakin. I will forever be the person who is dead in this situation where you have the choice to be the killer or the non-killer. I will never be. As much as I ran myself into that blade saw, how many times did it takes to?
Right.
I'm
right.
always gonna be the guy that dies.
I
It's
love
just my lot
that
in life.
you're
I'm okay with that.
like you're never going to leave camp as Monster Hunter. It's just going to be like monster chiller, monster friend,
Monster hanging out.
Yeah.
monster
Like,
hanger
well,
out.
It's beautiful. I mean, like, I could hang out in the cherry blossom area that, like, literally all day because I did that one of the days. I just left it on in the background and I was like, this is dope. So, Monster Hunter Rise, guys. If you want to really enjoy building a character and not killing monsters, it was still totally worth $60.
Sandwiches?
Right now, it is sitting at a very lofty 3 sandwiches, and that's just because my Palamut is really cute.
Beautiful.
It's a good reason. It's a good reason.
Darn good reason.
And it's like a puppy treat sandwich.
Right. Oh, yes. Yes. This is a Scooby snack sandwich.
Scooby
Nice.
snack. Beautiful.
And then what about you, Troy? What did you play this week?
So I'm still really deep in Skyrim, y'all. Like I said, this is a game that I haven't played for 10 years, that I'm playing really for the first time ever. I'm in a place right now where there's so much going on in my like shorthand memory that if I don't play this game for like 3 days, I'm going to forget how to play this game. I know what every chest, what every item I have in every chest, and it's all just in my head. You're not labeling anything. So keeping that in mind, I've been trying to, even on my off days from playing Skyrim, still keep Skyrim kind of in the jargon, in my noggin. So I went on a deep dive, y'all. I went on that YouTube. I went on that Google. And I looked up the entire history of the Elderscrolls universe. All the way
Whoa.
back to Elderscrolls 1 Arena. They didn't even have a proper name for it. It was just called Arena. And I just watched video after video and just read wiki after wiki, just trying to download every single part of that universe into my head that I could, to the point now that I think I may actually be an adjunct professor at any Skyrim University league or curriculum that comes up. Like, give me a call.
To be fair, the bar's pretty low. They
Great.
don't really like scholars in Skyrim.
Oh, good. I'm in good company then. I should be able to get in. But it's been really rewarding taking all that knowledge and going back into the game. Remember a couple of weeks ago, Manny was talking about how she talks at me. It was always Elderscroll. She would come at me with the Elderscroll stuff, and I was like, I'm trying, but I'm not keeping up, babe. But you know what? After this week, yo, girl, hit me up. You want to talk about some Tamriel? You want to go down to Valenwood? Check out Morrowind. I'm here for you.
You're still going to be about 100 years behind because I am playing ESO, but I would join. You know, you're more than welcome at any time to come play Elder Scrolls Online with me.
Man is like, you know what? You could at any time try to get on my level.
But
this is not the time.
Yeah, she's so 2008. You're so 2000 and late. That's what it is.
Sweet Black Eyed Pea reference. It's great. The more you research, the better the game is. The game is just dripping with all that knowledge. It has rewarded me for doing all that back history stuff, because every little inch of Skyrim is just dripping with a little bit of history, and the more they understand, the richer and fuller the world is. Incredible. I'll still be playing this game. I think I'm more than halfway through, though, to be honest.
You never beat Skyrim.
Oh, I'm gonna.
No
beat
one
it.
has
Yeah,
ever.
you're never halfway through.
Nah, I'm gonna beat it. I'm gonna beat it.
No
y'all.
one has ever.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the first. I'm a pioneer out here.
I want everyone to bookmark this podcast for 2 podcasts from now when Troy realizes that we're right.
Yeah. Now you have to try extra hard.
You're halfway through putting down the controller forever. That's what you're doing.
Yeah,
that's where you're at.
No, I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna do everything.
Troy, I believe in you. I believe in you, Troy.
There we go, Hassel.
You're gonna be the Skyrim.
I am. Call me Mr. Skyrim. That's who I am. Call me Mr. Skyrim. Call me Mr. Rain. I know what I want, and I want it now. All right, that's all I got for Skyrim. Thanks for checking in.
Awesome. All right. So that will do it for our games. Now that brings us to our news segment.
News.
Hell yeah. So this week, we're actually going to start with an oldie, but an unfortunately still relevant segment, which is Stop It, COVID.
Stop it, COVID.
I'm so happy we haven't had to do one of these segments in a while, but I'm still sad that we have to go back to it.
Yeah, I'm kind of booing this at the same time.
Yeah, same here. So this week, a bunch of conventions have been moved to online only, unfortunately, including Summer Games Done Quick, Tokyo Game Show, and PAX East have all made announcements for the move. I mean, it has to be done. They're all pretty much being done, I think, in August or before. I know PAX has 2 more conventions later on in the year, I think in September and November, and they're holding off on announcements for those.
Conventions have always been notoriously known and lovingly known to spread some type of con-funk disease, whatever. You know, you just accept it. When you go to one for more than a day, you're like, I'm going to catch something. So knowing that, I think just pushing it back another year is a very smart choice.
I think that this is just a really great venue for people to create virtual conventions. You put on your VR goggles, you go sit in the virtual convention room. You know, you watch your panel. People are on the panel screen, but the audience is empty. It was like, it's the future, guys. I'm just saying.
I want VR to be here so bad.
I agree.
Put me in, jack me in. Don't let me out.
And I do believe the Tokyo Game Show, they're still going to have a on-site thing for journalists, so that journalists can still go there and sample games and test them out. But as far as open to the public, it's all online. And also, with all these events being online, more people can experience them as well, because everything's being done online, whereas before, really, it's like 1 or 2 things being done online, and then everything else is you had to be there. So it is much more open to the masses now, which I think is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And then in a surprising move, Sony announced that a movie for Ghost of Tsushima is in the works with John Wick's directing.
Ooh, that action gonna be good.
It's gonna be so good.
The story's fairly simple too. I mean, it's like really deep, but I can see it fitting into 2 hours.
What's boggling me about this is Ghost of Tsushima is a video game made entirely inspired by samurai movies. and to have it now come full circle that it's inspiring a movie itself, I gotta believe that the makers are just like, we did it.
Do you think they're gonna do the black and white thing that they had? They had the
I hope
Tsushima
they do.
mode.
Kurosawa. Oh,
Yeah.
I bet there will be a version. I think it'll be optional.
Yeah.
I think there might be a version, or maybe the very first opening scene might be in black and white, and then the rest of it is in color.
Can you imagine the beach starting in black and white, and then slowly the waves coming up in color?
That's great.
Oh, that's cool.
Because think of John Wick movies, like while it is a lot of dark tones, like there's very vibrant colors in a lot of the different areas John Wick goes to and visits.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think what you're saying is right.
I can't wait until 4 years later we get the Zack Snyder's Ghost of Tsushima 4-hour cut.
I would love it
4-hour
if
cut.
Zack Snyder just started making cuts of other people's movies. That would be really funny.
This is like 2 hours too short. Hold on. And why is nobody crying?
And he still gets Henry Cavill back, even though he's not in the movie.
Yeah.
He gets Jason Momoa.
Henry Cavill
all
plays
of them in it.
Henry Cavill plays the sword in Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
I don't know how, I don't know where, but he just pulls out the sword and Henry
He's
Cavill's
just
there.
as
Because
buff.
who's gonna mess with you?
Yeah.
Slice ya.
And also, there's another parallel. John Wick movies has the dog. This one's going to have the horse.
Oh no! Damn
Yeah.
it! Oh damn it! That's how it starts. The movie starts halfway
horse.
through
It's
the
going
game.
to start with that.
What if the horse is the main character?
I'm down.
No, the horse is played by Keanu Reeves.
It's from the perspective of the horse.
Yeah, it's a martial arts horse. It's gonna fight like Keanu Reeves does, like John Wick. It'll be great.
And then also, Joe's got some more PlayStation news for us.
That is right. There was a rumor going around for the last 2 weeks that PlayStation or Sony was planning on actually closing their PlayStation 3, their PSP, and their PlayStation Vita digital stores. And the topic that has come up a whole lot is about game preservation and how if these stores close for real, how does anyone continue downloading them? If you have DLC for those things, like what if something happens to your system? And if you need to have a hard copy of things, will you be able to get the updated versions of them? Because there are updates to things constantly. And unfortunately, Sony said they are closing them. Each one of those systems has a different date for when they're closing. I think July is the closest one. I believe that's the PlayStation 3 store is going to be closing in July at some point. And they did say, however, at this moment in time, they do expect for people who have digital versions of the games to be able to continue downloading them in the future. There just won't be any technicians to help if there's anything wrong or if something happens to your system. It's just going to be kind of like unfortunately, kind of a crapshoot, it sounds like, though. So we'll keep you posted on when the other ones are going to, be closing up too, but it's kind of sad.
Yeah, you're just kind of SOL. I feel like when I got my digital games, I very much understood that like I don't own this. This is not mine. I'm gonna borrow this for as long as they let me.
I'll be interested to see how this affects video games from like an archival perspective. There have been a lot of video games historians on the internet talking about how like this is both good and bad. So I'll be interested to see like if I wanted to play this game 50 years from now, like will I still be able to have an experience, or will this game just over time eventually disappear into nothing? Because that would be sad.
Right. Yeah, and especially with some games are just digital only as well, so there's not even a physical release of them.
Maybe that would spawn a physical
interesting.
release, though, just for the preservation aspect from the developers or publishers.
I know in for previous consoles, I know that there were more physical, but there have been like illegal copies of games that now become the only version of that game because it's like someone ripped it, but like none of the physical things work anymore.
Ooh.
They're not prevalent, so that's like the only version.
That's interesting enough for its own deep dive, finding those illegal only copies. Ooh, spicy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to do that research, but one of us should. I don't know who. I got a lot of Skyrim to get into. I'm sorry, guys. I got a lot to study already.
And then also, one company is excited for the future, and that company is Nexon. They announced this week that last year they invested over $800 million into Hasbro, Bandai Namco, Sega Sammy, and Konami. Which is interesting because lots of other companies are also getting into either the acquisitions game or the investment game. And they're not really trying to start their own studio. Before they used to be like, we'll just do it ourselves. It's fine. We'll how hard can it be to make games? Let's just start our own studio. And then they lose all the money. So now it seems like people are just investing either in other studios or they're just acquiring them like Microsoft does. So it's very interesting to see where all of this is going.
Yep.
And then Activision Blizzard made a mountain out of a molehill this week, and in turn made a small rumor into a giant scoop. A couple of news sites reported that a Call of Duty Warzone map was getting redesigned to be 1980s theme. Well, those sites got DMCA'd by lawyers, and the lawyers even got Twitter to remove tweets by people about the leak, if you will.
Ooh, lawyers got involved.
It was really weird. It was like pretty much all confirmed that this is actually happening. And, whereas before it could have just been a rumor from a bunch of smaller sites, and now everybody knows about it.
If they had left it alone, no one would have noticed, but because they made such a big deal out of it, it kind of blew out of proportion.
Yes.
Is that what all of those emails from that law group were for? I just kept on deleting those.
They're not. They probably don't. It's fine. It's fine, I'm sure.
You just put them in your folder with your other legal emails that you don't read?
Right, yeah. That's called the spam folder.
Listen, ignorance, what could go wrong, right? What could go wrong? If I don't know, it can't hurt me.
I don't do math. Hassel doesn't read legal emails. We're great.
Yeah, done. All right. This brings us to my favorite segment, which is Turn Up for What?
Turnip for what?
And this week it's with Joe from Katsusando.
Welcome to Animal Crossing's yearly visit from the master of true horror itself, Zipper. It's that time of year where the joy of digging fossils is destroyed, the search for that tiny golden nugget is nearly impossible, and the relaxation of fishing is ruined by not the perfectly timed bass pun, but by the rotten eggs that have littered our waterways. Zipper T. Bunny is back to bring everyone his pastel, egg-covered nightmare. Eggs have begun spawning on trees and balloons as well, so be on the lookout for the yellow menace bringing this despair to your town. The island of Katsusando isn't enthused this year with the reappearance of this egg-slinging maniac, and many have begun barricading their homes to keep the torment of Zipper to a minimum. Nook's Cranny has brought in new seasonal special items to help celebrate the Bunny Day in spring, so check back daily to see their new offerings. But be careful, Zipper's normal hunting grounds is just in front of Town Hall, and he can sense your glee. Zipper seeks to destroy all seasonal happiness, so avoid his crazed gaze, and don't even try to talk to him about the large zipper on his back. And that's your slice of Animal Crossing pie. This is Joe from Katsusando reminding you to look up for the shooting stars, watch your step to avoid pitfalls, and always, always save your rusted parts. Back to you, dragons.
Turn up for what? All right.
Slowly walk out of the room.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah.
Watch out, Zipper's there waiting for you.
Oh, no. This is the worst time for Animal Crossing. I'm sorry,
really
guys. This is the really worst time.
I don't know what it is. He just sets me off, guys.
He really does.
I love Animal Crossing. I just really don't like Zipper. He's scary. You ever look into his eyes too long?
Never.
You lose yourself in there,
Don't
man.
do it. Don't do it.
You can't do it. Now that brings us to our Mighty Morsel Tasty topic.
Mighty Morsel Tasty topic.
Cha-chow. And this week it's going to be brought to us by Manda.
This week, a rare thing happened. All of our dragons played the same game.
Dun, dun, dun.
Woo!
Whoa.
Over the weekend, we dove into It Takes Two by Hazel Light Studios, and let me tell you, it was amazing. This romantic co-op game was played by three of our couples. We had Hassel and Jembib. We had Joe and Brian, and myself and Troy. If you were able to tune into our Twitch channel, you got to see the three different groups of us struggle with the game in different ways. And I think everyone had an amazing time. So we thought we'd all talk about it together. What do you guys think?
I love the game. It was so good. And I don't want to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't necessarily started it yet, but the start to the game, like, it's just like you're on this high. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm getting ready to play It Takes Two, and then it's just like, bump. It's like somebody hit like a really, really low bass note, and you're like, what?
It's like, I'm sorry, was this a Pixar movie?
Exactly.
I didn't understand that I was going to be sad in the first 20 seconds.
It's a good sad, though.
Yeah, it's definitely a sad that kind of makes you want to get going.
Yeah. But this game is just, even with the sad, though, it's full of so much charm that you really kind of forget about it as you start playing the game. Even with the banter going between the two couples, or even with the banter going between the couple, like, it's still like so whimsical, and the gameplay is so snappy and so really well done. And then like the cutscenes bring you back down to like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot that's what this game is.
Yeah, and without giving away like the nugget, you are playing as a couple who are going through marital problems. So
yes,
playing as couples, I feel like we were bringing a very interesting perspective to the game. It was almost kind of meta. There are definitely a few moments where the wife character looks over at the husband and says like, oh, you're supposed to do this thing, but you didn't or you couldn't. And then in my head, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of real. That sounds like me.
How many of us took the trash out immediately that night?
I did all the dishes.
Do you guys think that they will fix all of their marital problems by the end, or do you think they're still going to get divorced?
I think the game could be very bold. There may be a decision that we make. If we look at their previous game, which was A Way Out, there were moments in that game where you as a team had to make decisions, and it would be a bold move if that was one of the decisions, whether you stay together or leave. And both those options have their positives and negatives to them, and there's not necessarily a right or wrong answer there. But I could see the game going there.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
what do you think?
Oh, that is what I think. I think that's how it'll.
Yeah, but
it'll
what
go.
do you think?
Oh gosh, I don't know what you mean. I think a lot of things.
Do you think that they'll stay together? Or do you think
I gotta go do the dishes. I gotta go do this.
I gotta take the trash out again. It's empty. I don't care.
I'm just gonna take trash bags and throw them in the trash.
No, I do get where Troy's coming from. I do think that there is something like very whimsical about this game that almost makes it look like a fairy tale. And in a way, I think that it's almost kind of like leading towards that fairy tale moment in the end, right? Where everything is magically fixed. But through all the work that you did. But as someone who likes good writing and stuff like that, I would like to see the fairy tale where, hey, some things are not fixable and you can still be okay with that.
Or like we still love each other and we're still a family, even if we are divorced,
Right.
would be an awesome message.
That's
as
what
well.
I think. That's what I think it's gonna end. How I think it's gonna end.
But what did you guys think of the puzzles and the gameplay and the such?
Hazelight Studios, the makers of this game, they baffle me with how they're able to make co-op puzzling work, where you really have to communicate. You have to not just audibly but visually really have to figure things out together as a team, or else you just don't go forward.
You can't play solo with someone trailing behind you.
No, not at all. And I like how the puzzles in this aren't like super complicated or anything else like that. However, they are still like one of those things where you're just like, huh. And then you always have that, like moments where it's just like, oh, yeah, that's right. This is what I'm supposed to do.
You understand how it works, but then the real trial is how do we pull it off? How can we coordinate succinctly enough to make the goal happen?
And when you complete the puzzle, you instantly get rewarded by either being able to fly through the air or like slide down a thing or like go on a track. And it's like, oh, you take a minute and you're like, oh, how's it? Oh, and then you go, wee! And if I could describe this game in one word, it would be like wee.
Wee is great.
It's the perfect.
Or also because you're shrunk down into these little doll forms, and you're pretty much in like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids meets Coraline world, where the vacuum is like a boss level in this. So it's definitely ticking those nostalgia boxes for me. From when I was a kid and those movies were coming out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the animation for a second. Like, the animation is fantastic.
Gosh. Yes,
It's beautiful.
The art in this game is beautiful. Just from the very moment where you like step into the game and then you look to the top left and you see that toolbox that's just kind of like spinning and it's got a face on it and you're like,
Yes.
what the hell is that?
Just all the textures are gorgeous and the level design is so smart. Every level you get to, you just like... You're so immersed in that world and you just want to really spend some time looking at like all the little ants on the tree or the leaves or the bits of wood shavings. It's great.
Yeah.
I feel like they did a really good job making inanimate objects have real sustenance to them. Like they look, the eyes, the giving inanimate objects facial features is one thing, but giving them extremely expressive eyes, they look so real and yet so animated all at the same time, and it gives them personality. I think they did an amazing job with that.
I get the Pixar vibe now.
Right?
Like the inanimate objects. Like having those emotions for an inanimate object where you're like, huh, I feel for that hammer.
And I do love how every single section has its own mechanic to it.
Yeah.
And you don't, at least of right now, you don't carry it over to the next one. It's like, all right, not even what's the gimmick, but what's the, what are we going to be doing in the next section that's different from the previous one? And it still feels so natural.
They very easily could have had this game just be two people figuring out puzzles just on their own. But instead, they introduce the elements like one person gets a hammer, another person gets a nail, and then all of the just really special, interesting ways they can work that mechanic. And then once you're out of that, you lose the hammer and nail, and then there's 2 new things that you get. And then all those mechanics, it's like relearning a game over and over again. It's really smartly designed. I think smart is really the word I'm coming away from the design of this game.
Do you guys remember the first co-op game you guys ever played?
Co-op game?
Yes.
Probably like Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Mario Brothers.
For me, it was Contra.
Ever or together?
Oh, as a couple.
Oh, as a couple.
As a couple?
That's a good question, yeah.
It might have been Contra.
It might have been. We were going through our old NES library when we first started dating.
Yeah.
Did you all know each other? Did you guys start dating when you were both like 6?
No, but when we bought our very first TV, we decided I always crescent TVs with my top loader. I plug it into it and then play Jaws on it. And I thought Brian was making fun of me when he was like, oh, I really like Jaws. I'm like, okay, look, dude, don't make fun of me. This isn't fun.
Don't patronize
Like, I
me.
really like this game. And he was like, no, I really like Jaws. It's a great game. And then he like played the game and I was like, oh, you do like Jaws.
Yeah, I think we broke out. I think we did break out Contra
Oh, yeah.
because you were not very good at it.
No, I've always been terrible at Contra, but I really like the
That's
game.
Yeah, you
really
do.
cute. Mandy, what was our first couple game
Did
that
we
we
play
played?
anything before Lara Croft?
The
Temple of Osiris?
I think that was the first game. It was the kind of top-down Lara Croft adventure where you play as Lara Croft in like this being that was resurrected or something.
It's like Anubis.
Yeah, and it was like a really lovely. I remember. No, it was our first one. So I remember writing about it because I have like my entertainment journal, and I even remember writing something like corny, like this game was really great. You know, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Even better when you're sharing it with somebody special.
That's me. That's me. I liked it because Lara Croft would do backflips.
Yeah, there you go. And then outside I was keeping it cool, but inside I'm like, oh, somebody likes me and they like video games. Somebody likes me and they like video games.
What about you, Hassel? What was the first co-op game that you and Jambi played?
I think in all honesty, it might have been Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Oh wow,
That's a good co-op. That's a
Yeah,
good co-op game,
because you know we're a fairly new couple compared to the other couples that we're friends with and stuff like that, and I remember I went out to get a Switch for Let's Go Pikachu, which was a mistake for a second.
Let's not Pikachu. Let's not.
Yeah. But then I picked up Animal Crossing because we were both fans of it, and her family's into it, like her parents were into it and stuff like that. And then we realized that if we actually used the same Switch to play as 2 different characters, we would have to share an island, and that caused me to go back to GameStop and be like, hey, I'm going to need another Switch and another copy of Animal Crossing.
I know this might be kind of controversial, but bringing it back to It Takes Two, what did y'all think of the book character?
So yeah, there is a book character who's tasked with trying to fix this marriage.
It's a self-help book that is now personified as this wonderful Latino gentleman.
It's got like thick purple eyebrows and a mustache, and I liked him at first. I think I still like him. I'm not sure. What do you all think?
Is it a possibility that he is the villain, like he's the final boss?
Big time.
I could absolutely see that. For myself, I thought initially he was a jerk. Like I thought it was like, man, just let them go. Let them, let them talk to their daughter.
It's not your business.
Yeah, exactly. Get out of here. But then like as it kept on going along, I was like, oh wait, they're not ready to talk to their daughter because he's trying to fix their marriage. He's trying to help them along and make them better people towards one another. So then I realized, oh, he is being a jerk, but there's a purpose to their jerkness, if you will.
He's also very extra, and I'm a little in love with how ridiculous he is. It's like every time they're almost about to reach the goal, not only does he stop them, but he like stops them and then mocks them and then like salsa dances away. It's like so much.
It's so much. It is kind of great.
There is something to be said about the fact that the thing that's supposed to try to get you to work on your marriage traditionally has never wanted to talk about working on your relationship. Like that is not a thing that happens in Latino households. As a Latino man, like it's great to see myself represented in a book that dances away every time like something bad happens. But like there is almost kind of like this irony in having the book be kind of like represented as a Latino man who wants you to get in touch with your feelings and wants you to talk to your partner, when in reality, when you talk to Latino men, like they think that is the worst thing that you can do is talk to your partner.
It's a good role model. I mean, maybe not entirely, but aspects of it.
At first, I don't think I, you know what? I can't even say it. I love him. I really like how stupid looking he is, and I really love how like goofy he dances. And yes, he shows up and he does some really not cool things, and he stops the flow of things quickly, and you know he makes things harder for you. But his little salsa dance away, like it won me over. He starts to shimmy, and I'm like, yeah, you do that, little book, man. I love you. Yeah, look at your little mustache. That's right. Dance your little booty book away. I love him.
And I love how his limbs are bookmarks.
Yeah.
They're just stretched out bookmarks.
Oh, that's what they are. I thought they were like a torn page, like torn 4 ways.
He also has a really
limbs.
defined chin. He's got like a butt chin.
It's got
it's
a butt
very
chin.
funny.
Super butt chin.
It's very
Yes. The character design, everything in this is amazingly well done.
Oh my gosh.
I
yes.
can't wait to see what the next level design is going to be. Each one has been very interesting, and I want to play. The story is great, as we're saying, but I'm looking forward to finishing the game just to see how much imagination is yet to come. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
I agree. All right, cool. Well, thank you, Amanda, for that topic. So that has been our
Mighty Morsel Tasty Topic.
Jojo. And now that brings us to our Dragon of the Week.
Achoo, 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 achoo. It's the Dragon of the Week. Oh, it's so sweet. It's the Dragon of the Week, and it is neat. Dragon of the Week. Dragon of the Week. Dragon of the Week.
Dragon of the Week is the segment where we shine a little light, show a little love to the video game industry and all the people who make the games that we love to play. Bringing us our dragon this week is Troy.
So, we are currently in Deaf History Month. It runs from March 13th to April 15th. So, I wanted to bring to the table an inspiring and disgustingly talented pro gamer, pro streamer, who is also profoundly deaf, named FaZe Ewok. Okay, fellow old people in the room, I want you to sit down, hold on to your pogs, clutch your Tamagotchis, okay? Because FaZe Ewok was born in 2005.
Oh, what?
Oh.
Yes. This career professional gamer is 15 years old. Ewok was born deaf. His whole family is deaf. And his father is a sign language professor and actually educates people on his popular YouTube channel called ASL That, which is a great name. So good.
Yeah, it's so good that you actually did like a little finger wag as you did.
My neck kind of went back and forth.
Yeah.
ASL That. I checked out that channel. It's pretty awesome. Go take a look at it. It's on YouTube. So growing up, there was definitely a lot of support from family who was deaf and the deaf community. When it came to video games, though, Ewok had a very discerning taste for video games. His first console was the Nintendo Wii, and he remembers telling his dad, I'm not that into this. It's just not, I don't know about this, Dad. So Dad was like, all right. Some years went by, and Dad was like, all right, I got this new Xbox. It's the newest Xbox. Check it out. I think this was probably Xbox One. Here, check it out. Xbox One. Here you go. And Ewok played it for a little bit and was still like, I don't know about all this. I mean, there's a lot of green. There's like so much green on the system. It's just, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. So some more time passed, and the dad was like, you want to like just try my PC or something, I guess? I don't know. I'm trying to find what you would like. Just try my PC. And boom, Ewok was introduced to Fortnite. And after playing Fortnite, Ewok's dad was like, damn, you're pretty good. Like you're pretty good. At that time, Ewok was already a fan of a few Fortnite streamers and was drawn to the positivity that Twitch can have. You know, everyone kind of rooting for you, and if you lose, they're like, next one. Twitch can be a very positive place, I feel. So he started his own Twitch account and streamed Fortnite non-stop. Well, not like non-stop. I mean, he still had school and like volleyball practice because, he was 12. He was 12 at this time. Ewok was so freaking amazing at Fortnite. What he would do, he would turn on the accessibility options so that the audio elements of the game actually became visual in the game. So they actually have that feature so that if you can't hear, you can still see anything you would need to hear. And Ewok
that's awesome.
Basically mastered that difference, mastered it. Just like all streamers, Ewok started with 5 people that would kind of tune in to watch and were like, oh, this kid's pretty good. That's fine. And it slowly built to 10. And they were like, oh, wow, this kid's amazing. But all right, this is great. But in March of 2019, word of this 13-year-old deaf Fortnite savant made its way to none other than Tim the Tat Man, who is like, I don't know, Brian, like one of the 3 most popular streamers. Like he's up there, right?
Yeah. He's up there.
Yeah. So he raided Ewok's channel. I saw the clip of it. They were just like, hey, this streamer is deaf and is 13. Let's go show some love and jump in there. And all of Tim's fans were emotionally moved by the teenage Fortnite player and astonished at how lethal he was. I can't overstate how brutal this streamer is at Fortnite. It's amazing. The next day, Kurt Benkert, an American football quarterback from the Atlanta Falcons, who's also a streamer, then visited Ewok's stream. Following that, Mizkif, who's another popular streamer, came to support Ewok, and it just started going and going. That led to Ewok receiving hundreds of subscriptions within 3 days this happened.
Awesome.
The Twitch staff and Epic Games, the makers of Fortnite, started catching on to this streamer and was like, we got to get in this, and actually joined the chat to be like, yo, Epic is here. What's up? In short, Ewok rose to instant Twitch fame. Fortnite fans from all over the world flocked to see this teenager just wreck fools all day and all night in Fortnite. To put this in perspective, he started playing Fortnite on May 1st, 2018. As of March 2019, according to Fortnite Tracker, he ranked among the top 25 players in the world and top 6 in the US alone.
That's awesome.
So that was March. 3 weeks later, Ewok is signed with an agency called Abrams Artist Agency, already signed. 2 weeks after that, Ewok became a partner with Twitch, which means that Ninja and a bunch of other Fortnite streamers celebrated them. And the next day during a live stream, Ninja actually signed hello to him in American Sign Language on stream.
That's
awesome.
Fantastic.
A week and a half later, a popular internet news source for the deaf community called the Daily Moth interviewed him for the first time, and just like that, he was now becoming a spokesperson for the ASL community, which is amazing. Then 2 weeks later, FaZe Apex posted a video to his 5 million subscribers on YouTube describing how impressed he was with a 13-year-old Ewok Fortnite skill. And this took notice from FaZe. Ewok's popularity and skill grew so fast that professional esport and entertainment group FaZe Clan reached out to recruit Ewok for their pro Fortnite team. Ewok and his parents said yes, and just like that, Ewok became FaZe Ewok and thus became a pro gamer at the age of 13. Wow. Ewok subsequently was part of that Twitch exodus to Mixer, with Ninja and everyone and Shroud. But as we know, that didn't work out, so no harm, no foul. He returned to Twitch, but this time Twitch offered Ewok a shiny exclusive contract. That same year, Ewok was nominated for Content Creator of the Year for 2019 Game Awards, which is pretty spectacular. And then most recently, in 2020, on National Coming Out Day, FaZe Ewok came out on his Twitter as a bi-trans male. He felt a lot of pressure all these years leading up to them, being written up in many articles and magazines as the first female streamer this and the first female gamer that they decided it was time to do it for themselves. And I'm super inspired and at his absolute courage to come out, and the world is all the better for it. FaZe Ewok has over 350,000 followers on Twitch and over 360,000 on Twitter. When not gaming, he loves hanging out in this place called Outside. I don't really know what that is.
Wait a second.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll look it up later.
Is that like inside but out there?
Well, you've gotten further than I have. As always, we're always just telling you a bit of how awesome these Dragons of the Week are. So please go out and support them, follow them, learn more about their extraordinary talents. They make this games industry as robust and wonderful as it is. So hats off to FaZe Ewok, this episode's Dragon of the Week.
Awesome, Troy. Thank you so much for bringing that to us. I always heard about FaZe Ewok. I just didn't really know a lot about them. Mm-hmm. And so now I do. And thanks so much for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, totally gnarly.
Very, very cool.
Best name ever.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, unfortunately, though, that brings us to the end of this week's episode.
Boom, 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 boom.
But you can always find us online.
To continue the conversation, you can always follow us online. Check us out on Twitter for indie game updates, on Instagram for updates and silly images, on Discord for daily discussions, and on Twitch for live gaming and just chatting every day of the week. We are at Taste of Dragons everywhere, and we'd love to hear from you. And speaking of Twitch, we have a special comment of the week. We deem this our Gembeeb of the week, our Beeb of the week, because Gembeeb has the best comments. We can't just give her the award every single week. So instead, we name the category after her. So I have a Beeb of the week. Goes to Disco Frog, a standard, a classic. Disco Frog says, privacy cookie policy? You mean eating cookies in the shower? In reference to the internet.
Salad.
Yes. And that was during Joe and Brian's It Takes Two stream. So thank you, Disco Frog, for making us laugh.
All right. Well, as always, my name is Brian.
My name is Troy.
Amanda.
I'm Hassel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
The
Taste of
Dragons.
Have a great week, everyone.
Anybody want to play Fortnite?
I just followed FaZe
I
Ewok
get
on
killed by
everything.
everybody.
I think I'm too old.
I'm so bad at that game.
Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast, a podcast for everyone's taste.